Lord God. Anything that will try to steal the word from being implanted to our heart, our soul, and our spirit on today. God, we rebuke it right now in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. And God, we thank you. We adore you. In Jesus' wonderful name we pray. Amen. And come on and put your sanctified hands together. Give God some glory in this house. Come on and give God some glory in this house. Oh, come on and give God some glory in his house. Hallelujah.
We give God the honor and the glory for this privilege on this morning. Y'all can be seated before the Lord. Amen. Amen. I thank God for Apostle. I really do. Amen. That was real cute for me, for the fanfare that you gave. But I'm talking about the men of God in this life. Amen. The general, that while we see him, he's overseeing and praying for us. Amen. Amen. I thank God for the instructions that he laid the foundation of at the beginning of this month with honestly talking about hell. It's not a very fun subject. It's not an exciting subject. It don't tickle your fancy, but it's a necessary subject because it's a subject that a lot of churches really don't want to actually go after anymore. You know, you got a lot of churches that are erected, but a lot of them don't want to teach about hell. They don't want to teach about heaven. They don't want to teach about sin, which are the practical principles of salvation. Amen? Amen. So, in talking about hell, God actually gave us something that is entitled, Don't Let Your Guard Down.
All right.
Don't let your guard down. And I want you to go with me to the book of Judges, the 16th chapter. And we're just going to work the scripture. We're not going to read all of them, but we just kind of bounce around. It's a lot to read. Amen. And for the sake of time, we're going to kind of move. And I'm going to start with the first verse. It says, Now Samson went to Gaza and saw a harlot there and went into her. When the Gazites were told Samson has come here, they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the gate of the city. How many of you know that despite of what your call is, despite of what your purpose is, despite of where God's trying to take you, the enemy is laying in wait for you?
Yeah, that's right.
It says, they were quiet all night, saying, in the morning, when it is daylight, we will kill him. And Samson lay low till midnight. Then he arose at midnight, took hold of the doors of the gate of the city, and the two gateposts, pulled them up, bar and all, put them on his shoulders, and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Y'all can be seated. We're just going to work the scripture. I don't want y'all standing too long. Amen. It says, afterward, it happened that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the Lord of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, entice him, and find out where his great strength lies, and by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and every one of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver.
Wow.
So this woman, which is a harlot, everybody know what a harlot is, won't keep paying for the babies. Amen. Lady of the evening, a night seeker. Amen. A bad bird. Amen. So
Streetwalker.
Amen. She's a harlot. Amen. 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 So this woman, Delilah, was paid 1,100 pieces of silver in exchange for the life of Samson, but not only just his life, but the secret of the empowerment of his strength from God. So Delilah said to Samson, please tell me where your great strength lies, and with what you may be bound to afflict you. So she laid it all out on the table.
All right.
She ain't cut no corners or nothing and try to butter him up and sweet talk him nothing. She just said, just tell me where your strength is so I can go ahead and bound you up. Just let me know what's going on so we can go ahead and get this party started. And Samson said to her, if they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings, not yet dried, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. So the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 fresh bowstrings, not yet dried, and she bound him with them. Now men were laying in wait, staying with her in the room. Now they in the room. And she said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he broke the bowstrings as a strand of yarn breaks when it touches the fire. Just like ash. So the secret of his strength was not known. So that was strike 1. Then Delilah said to Samson, look, you mocked me and told me lies. Now please tell me what you may be bound with. So he said to her, if they bind you secretly with new ropes that have never been used, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. So they went to get new ropes. They went to get these new ropes and they bound him up. And said to him, which is Delilah speaking, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. And men were lying in wait, staying in the room, but he broke them off his arms like thread. That's strike 2.
Now, if I can say, not to interrupt, but just to interject a little bit, recognize what the scripture is telling us. Samson was strengthened beyond the measures of a normal human being. Look at the device and the attack of the enemy. To first attack what God has already implanted and imparted into the man of God. So let's bring it up to the present day. God has implanted, God has imparted, God has spoken, and God has told you where he has made you bountiful. And since he has already told you those things and he has made you those things, that's why the enemy hits you in your areas where you feel like you are most weak. Samson was strong, y'all. That was his greatest thing that he had, his greatest attribute that God gave to him. And since God gave that to him, the enemy wanted to take it away from him. Don't you know the enemy, like it says, that the enemy was laying a wait outside, waiting to try to see how he can honestly come in and disrupt the flow of what God has already imparted. Oh, come on now. Don't find it very weird that you're going through certain situations. Don't find it like, oh my God, where this come from? Don't be surprised, y'all. We gotta understand that we serve a true and living God, but there's an enemy that's always lurking, trying to figure out how he can steal what God has rightfully given to you.
Go back to the scripture. It says, I'm at the 13th verse. It says, Delilah said to Samson, until now you have mocked me and told me lies. Tell me what you may be bound with. And he said to her, if you weave the 7 locks of my head into the web of the loom. Everybody know what a loom is? It's an old school sewing machine. Amen. He says, so she wove it tightly with the batten of the loom and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he awoke from his sleep and pulled out the batten and the web from the loom. So this man, in other words, he just basically just ripped the cord. So that's strike 3. Then she said to him, how can you say I love you when your heart is not with me? Now how many know that's the trick of the enemy? When you don't do it his way, when you don't bow to his tactics and his schemes, when you don't easily give in to his enticement and his devices, then he's trying to weasel up to you. You don't see me. You don't love me. You do not love me. You don't tell me the truth. Then tell me how to bind you. You don't tell me that you love me. Then tell me how to bind you. You over here stand with up next to me and then you sit there and tell me I love you. You don't love me. Come on. You do not love me. You don't love me, bro. Come on.
You just painting a picture for you, amen? You painting a picture. That's how the enemy do you. He'll try to figure a way to snuggle up to you.
A heavy guilt trip to make you believe that you do not love him, or you don't love what you know. You're not
my words, babe. I love you. You're my sweet thing. You know I'm going to tell you everything.
Then I need you to tell me how to bind you. And she said that when your heart is not with me, she said, you have mocked me these 3 times and have told me where your great strength lies. You haven't told me anything.
All right.
You ain't told me what I need to tell, what you need to tell me. So I mean, either you're gonna tell me or you're not gonna tell me. But she didn't leave. She didn't leave. She kept on her pursuit. And it came to pass when she pestered him daily with her words and pressed him so that his soul was vexed to death. Now that's it. That's the end. He gonna constantly keep pressing the issue and keep pressing the issue. He gonna keep snuggling up on you. He gonna keep rubbing your head. He gonna keep holding your hand. He might throw you some money. He might buy you something. He might, do everything he can to get God's secrets out of you. And to get you off course to where God has actually positioned you to be.
Let's understand this as well. I do apologize. Let's understand this as well. Samson was a Nazarite by birth.
That's right. Yeah.
So to make a long story short and explains what a Nazarite is, you can go to Numbers chapter 6, verses 1 through 21. And it breaks it down in so many words is the man of God took a vow.
Yeah. That's right.
He took a vow unto the Lord. And as he took a vow unto the Lord, there are certain stipulations of things that he could not do, and there were certain stipulations of things that he was supposed to do. And as he moved out in those things, Delilah was so greatly of an enemy toward him that he was blinded by what his eyes saw. Totally disregarding the vow that he made unto the Lord, all he was doing was looking with his eyes. We're going to keep it clean because we're going to leave it at he was just looking with his eyes. Amen. Because there was some other things that led him to, amen, God bless him. But you can't be blinded by what God has given you when the enemy honestly wants to take what God gave you and turn it for the bad.
Come on.
He wants to take the very things that God gave you and then work it against you so you can work in that against other people.
All right.
Because what God wants you to do is come into salvation.
Yeah.
So therefore, not so you can just stay there, but so you can bring others in. Come meet this Jesus that I know. Come meet this God that I know. But God want to shut that out. Satan want to shut that down. He don't want you to tell nobody about your testimony. He don't want you to tell about what God has done for you. He don't want you to move out and let people know that what area you in, I've been there, God delivered me. He don't want you to go and tell somebody you're going to come up out of that pit. You ain't going to stay down there. He don't want you to go and witness to the ones that are lost, the ones that are heartbroken, the ones that need to be mended, the ones that need to be ministered to. He don't want you to do that. So the enemy want to take what God has strengthened you in, dilute it, and honestly make you work in that to work for his good. He took a vow.
Yeah.
Where are we taking a vow and then we say, God, I know I took this vow, but I need to go do this. I need to go, I just got to get it out of my system. I got the spirit of, I can't help it right now. I just need to, just one more time. I promise you, God, just one more time. And God, you are such a loving God. You're such a gracious God. Look how we work it. See how we try to work God like that. We become a Delilah trying to pimp God. God, you are so lovely. You're so kind. I know you're going to forgive me. I didn't mean to do it. But if you just allow me just this, and God is like, wow, that's how you're going to do me, huh? I've implanted. I've imparted. I've spoken. I've delivered, I've rescued, I've honestly covered you, I've protected you. And this is what you bring me? Come on, we're killing that Delilah spirit on today.
No more liars and manipulators in the kingdom, amen? And that's honestly what, to just kind of sum it up, that's basically what Delilah was. She was a manipulator. And she did everything she could at all given times to actually try to manipulate the secrets of God out of Samson. And the one thing about it was that where Samson made the mistake was he became too comfortable. Too comfortable with this woman. to the point to where he laid his head in her lap. Now, when you lay your head in the lap of the harlot, what happens is you're giving over to your lustful desires. You're giving over to sin altogether. And you're no longer walking on the path that God actually consecrated you and called you to. So the one thing about it is that, and I'm going to paint the picture. Now the enemy don't mind you coming to church, he just don't want you to get no power. He don't mind you getting saved, he just don't want you to get the Holy Spirit. Because people honestly look at the Holy Spirit as just being the Spirit of God, the nature of God just coming inside of you, but that's only half of it. Because when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, we have a seal on us that seals us for God's own use, and that honestly keeps a gate around us to where the enemy can't easily just keep coming in and having access to us. And so, with that being said, the consecration or the vow that Samson made was from his birth. His parents actually made that vow for him to actually lead a life that would be consecrated forever unto God, that he will constantly keep doing the things that God chose him and called him to do. Now, one thing about, and I'll say for children, and I can speak for myself, when you're in your mama's house and your mama constantly keep telling you and saying, don't do this, don't do that, I can't wait till I'm grown. I can't wait till I'm grown. I ain't gonna have to go to church no more. I ain't got to wear no long skirts no more, way down to my big toe. I ain't got to do all of this kind of stuff to honestly prove anything to my mama. I can be who I want to be when I move out. That's the same kind of mindset that Samson had. He had a mindset of rebellion. He did. So, in his upbringing and what have you, this rebellion, honestly, it just constantly kept going, and it grew, and it manifested so greatly, so it just baffled his parents. His parents was like, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? What's going on? No, parents, you haven't done anything wrong. Because if you honestly had told your children the truth, and they constantly keep kicking against the prick, you already know what time it is. You already know that you honestly done the right thing. So keep doing what you're doing. Amen? Don't ever stop telling your kids the truth, because one thing about it is the truth is a foundation that your kids can stand on, they can honestly live on, and it will constantly carry them throughout the course of their life. Amen? So he didn't want to listen to the truth. He constantly kept kicking against the truth and kept kicking against the truth till he honestly kept getting with these pagan women. He married not one, but two. So the first one got killed. The second one honestly came to try to behoove him out of everything that God honestly, she didn't try, she did it. He laid his head in the lap of this woman, in the lap of sin, and she began to stroke his hair, and the next thing you know, he told everything. And when he told everything, then that's when all hell broke loose for him. Then they cut his hair. Not only did they cut his hair, they took his eyes out. So not only did they take the gift, or they actually tampered with the gift, they got them placed on your life. Now you can't see her. Come on. Now you can't see spiritually. Now you can't hear spiritually. Now you can't honestly obtain the download that God richly is trying to give into you every single day. Now you're disconnected from God. So where is the place that we don't want to go? There's actually no presence of God, and you will be disconnected from God forever. Hell. And that's what the enemy honestly is trying to lead us to. He's trying to lead us to an eternal damnation with him. He already know what he's going. He already know what his fate is. He want a whole party when there's where people going with him. And the thing of the matter is that Samson had a choice in the matter, but we have a choice in the matter. We have a choice in the matter either to link up with Christ and get in the covenant that was richly designed for us, or to constantly keep telling God, "Nah, I got this one. I got it. That's okay. I got it. Well, this is coming up. Look, I got that too. Don't worry about it. This man coming up to you. What's up? I got it. I can handle it. The woman come up to you. She shaking her leg at you, showing up. I can handle it. Everything coming up against you. All temptations of life, all temptations of the world coming up against you. I got it, God. I got it. I don't need what you're serving. I don't need what you got. I don't want what you got. And basically, that's what you're telling me. Because every time that we constantly keep sinning and we know to do right and we don't do right, we're going to be whipped with the mission. Not only will you be whipped with a million stripes, that honestly keeps allowing the enemy to keep coming in between the covenant that you have with God. So that means that everything can keep coming in and keep doing this. You keep doing, and you keep going next to God. But that's because sin is in between you now. And it's so much to the point to where what has to happen is you gotta repent. It's the only thing that's honestly gonna bridge you out for you to get back to your rightful place in God. And so I thank and I praise God for this, because when God actually showed me this, he actually showed me this in a way that I never seen it before. But the one thing about it is, if we flip over to the 22nd verse, it says that, however, the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaven. So what that does is, even though we constantly keep putting ourselves in these predicaments, all these little predicaments, all these simple things, we just keep latching hold to sin, don't want to let it go. We know we ain't doing right. We keep hearing the word, we keep honestly sitting there talking about, she ain't talking to me.
Come on, come on.
She ain't talking to me.
That word ain't for me.
That word is not for me. Ooh, look at that. It's for Shell. She knows she ain't right. It's for Prophetess. You know she ain't right. She looking at one-eyed people. You know, she knows she ain't right. It's for Chloe. You know she ain't right. It's for Brother Happy. He happy all the time. We happy for her. It's for everybody but you. And it begins to get you in a place to where now you actually have become in a silent rebellion. You kicking everything. Don't want to listen to anything. But the thing of the matter is that God, in spite of all these predicaments, is so gracious. He's so merciful. And that's the reason why Samson's hair actually grew back. It was in a sign of mercy towards the man of God, despite of what he actually had found himself into. And so we're going to go a little bit deeper on the harlot. Now we're going to go on to Proverbs 23 and the 27th verse. This harlot is a bad chick. She don't mean you no good. She never did and she never will. It says, for a harlot is a deep pit, and a seductress is a narrow well. That means that a harlot, she never meant you any good. She never meant you any good at all. She's nothing but trouble. But we honestly keep hooking up with the harlot every time. Every time. Like I said, you remember the, I don't know, some people kind of, well, some of them should. Remember the Three Stooges? You remember on the Three Stooges where it was this big tall man, big crazy man with flat top, he had a big unibrow? And he chasing them through the doors. Now first you see him chasing Larry through the door. Now you see him chasing Larry through the door. Then they come out the door. Then you see him chasing Larry and Curly through the door. Then you see him chasing Larry and Curly and Lowe through the door. So now he done picked up partners. And that's how it is. The enemy don't just want one person. He want Pastor Todd.
Come on.
He want Brother Melvin. He want Brother Happy. He want Deacon Arthur. He want Minister Maddie. He want leadership, because if the head is going out right, then the body gonna get cut off. Then he gonna come over to Minister Amos. Then he gonna come to Sister Valina. Then he gonna come to Minister Adrian, to Minister Greg, to Minister Mario. He gonna cut everybody off. The thing of the matter is, he don't mind you coming in church. He don't mind you coming in and taking a seat. He'll come in and sit with you. He'll watch you back and come in and talk about, hey, come
Skip the church.
on, we're gonna come in and sit down. Come on here. Okay, what they talking about? Oh, don't.
Come on.
It's negative.
Come on now. Make it plain, girl.
What time is it? Hey, you know the game. It is. Okay, you know it's 11:23, but you know you have to go and get your clothes. You gotta go get your clothes because you know it's free before 2. You know, I don't know, but we don't look like we listen. We don't look like we listen. Yeah, no, we ain't gonna leave right now. We'll keep it. Now we're gonna start making some noise. We're gonna start making some noise. Go pick up that baby. Look at her, she playing. Now, come on back here now. I got some more for you. Come on. she was at the club with me. She was at the club with me. I had a friend saying that she was working last night. She was getting it. Wait a minute, we got on video. World Star Hip Hop is the one. World Star. We gonna put it out there. We're gonna put it out there. Wait a minute. Make some more noise. Make some more noise. Make some more noise. You better jump. Jump a little bit. Jump. Jump. Wait a minute. Get some tissue. Right. Get your tissue. Make them make you cry a little bit.
Y'all know my testimony.
Listen, they don't know your story.
They don't know my story.
They don't know your story. They don't know your story. I only see it your glory. That's how they see your glory. That's how they see your glory. Okay, make a little more noise. Make a little more noise. Amen. And the whole while, you ain't got no word. No word. You ain't got nothing nobody done said. You ain't obtained no knowledge. And after, by the time we say amen and love someone on your way out, somebody stepped on your big toe and now you ready to fight. You ain't even ready for it. You done lost your victory.
It's the results of laying our head in the lap of the harlot. It says in the word of God, it says that it was 4 times that Samson, 4 times that Delilah was able to soothe Samson. And we say 4 times? Come on, say that with me real quick. 4 times. 4 times. But then God had to shut me up. He said, that said 4 times in the word for Samson. But you done lost count of how many temptations the enemy has allowed you to walk into. And I had to deliver you because you kept stepping in the midst of the harlot. 4 times he fell for it. He fell for the okie doke. And then when he laid his head, she stroked him. She said, you don't love me. It says in the verse 19, it says, then she lured him to sleep on her knees and called him for a man and had him shave off his 7 locks of his head. Then, as she stroked him, look what she did next. Then she began to torment him, and his strength left him. So she went from stroking him to get the information out of him, now to take, okay, I got what I need, I don't need you no more now. How many times the devil say it? He said, I got you to say what I needed to say, I don't need you no more. I got you to act out of character, I don't need you no more now. I got you to tell so and so off, I don't need you no more now. I got you to flip the bird because they cut in front of you, I don't need you no more now. You did my works. Thank you. That's laying our head in the lap of the harlot. So we're going to go back over to Proverbs, what was it, 23 and 27? What it says here, for a harlot is a deep pit, and a seductress is a narrow well. So what does that say to us? It's easy to get into. It's hard to get out of. See, all the enemy wants you to understand is, I'm going to present this to you, and it looks promising, don't it? It is. It's very promising for you. But then behind the scenes, you don't see the decay. You don't see all the chaos. You don't see all the troubled minds. You don't see all the stress. You don't see all the strain. You don't see all the frustration. I can't understand why this is happening to me. That's because the harlot brought something that was so soothing, smelled so good, brought it to you real nice, and you accepted it, and then now the enemy has his way. Amen?
And to actually, not to cut you off, but I thank God for the prayer assignment on the prayer line, because what we've been actually talking about for the month of October, we've been talking about dismantling satanic altars. And when the harlot comes and she presents these different things to you, it doesn't always have to be sex. It doesn't always have to be money. It can actually be anything that actually just just entices you away from the things that God originally called you to. And what an altar is, it's like what an altar is here. It's a place that you honestly, this is the place where we meet God. This is our place of consecration. This is our holy place. It's a holy ground here that allows you and allows God to actually come in and do what he needs to do with us. And that's honestly what the satanic altars do. They allow the enemy and his camp to be able to have easy access to us on a regular basis. So what we have to do is we have to dismantle these altars. We have to go before God and ask God to not only just dismantle them, but to consume them. That they don't always constantly just keep having access to us. Because God never made a door for the enemy to be able to just easily just walk in when he wants to. But sin does. Sin keeps the door open, but God actually keeps the door closed. The Holy Spirit and the seal of him keeps the door closed. And the thing of the matter is that a lot of people know what God has called them to do and asked them to do. But the one thing about it is they don't want to do it because they don't want to change. They don't want to come out of the areas where they have been for so long. It became so comfortable and so easy for you to be there that it's a bed of ease. To the point where now, why would I leave it?
That's good.
I'm talking about myself. I'm a person, I love to put myself on Front Street because, I mean, transparency is good.
That's right.
Long time ago, before I met my husband, I had a shopping problem. I was a shopaholic. Now people say, that ain't no disorder. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. They got Shopaholics Anonymous. Yeah, they do. They got people that actually will sit there and try to help you to get over that because that's a mental thing. Because what you're doing is you're taking that problem and you're actually replacing something else that's painful, or something you don't want to let go of, and you're putting that in a place of things that God really is trying to get you to come out of. And so what you've done is you done cause something that's just like a 24-hour itch to become a bad habit. So what I did was, and my daughter's a living witness. Every week we had something new. Every week we had new clothes, new shoes, new everything. We just new down all the time. And it became so to the point to where my closet, I had like maybe 2.5 to maybe 3 closets full of stuff. And my mama was like, what? I don't have no closet space. I said, I'm so sorry, girl. I'm going to tell you. So I had so much stuff in there to the point to where things just start happening, just all of a sudden. And I start losing stuff. I can't even tell you what the stuff is. Can't tell you what a Burberry purse is, all this different kind of stuff. It's stuff that costs a lot. Can't tell you what the stuff is. Don't know where it's at. But the thing of the matter is, what God was trying to show me is, you got to get a hold on me. He was trying to teach me how to save. He was trying to teach me how to come out of a bad habit and come out of an area that was an altar that the enemy has set up in my life to keep me in bondage, to keep me chained to debt. Because then if I'm chained to debt, then I'm working 2 to 3 jobs, don't have no time for my child, can't do what I need to do, and now there's a disturbance and a disconnect in the family. So what you gotta do is you gotta pay attention to the little foxes in your life, because those little foxes start off as little mighty mustard seeds, and then all of a sudden they blow up to these big things, and now you have no control over them. Sometimes, I mean, I'm being honest, I had a cussing problem. Amen. Some of us still do. Amen. We don't take our head out of the lap of the morning today. Amen. We don't learn it now. We don't do it no more. But I mean, 0 to 60. Somebody will say something. I was always the shortest one in the group of young ladies that I rode with. And they were much taller than me, much healthy young ladies. But every time you looked around, somebody tried to start trouble. That was me right in front. What you say? And then all the 4-letter words just keep coming out and all this kind of stuff. So where we were almost shot at, we were ran off the road, I've been poisoned, all kind of stuff. But the thing of the matter is that was an altar. Come on. That God honestly had to consume in my life to get me to have clean speech. To the point where my mouth no longer honestly says things that will corrupt myself and others. Amen? So my thing is, I had to get out of them areas and do the things that God told me to do. But that's the thing. We have to know, we all know where we are. We all know where we are. We all know where God wants us to be, where He's pulling us control the steps. And you don't realize that your head is a head that's in the lap of a harlot. That constantly keep allowing you to do different things to cause you to honestly keep being so disconnected to after a while you in this abyss that you can't get out of. And you're wondering how you got there. And then next thing you know, something happened. Because at any given time we can drop dead. At any given time we can honestly just leave here. And then next thing you know, now you have no disconnection to God and you're wondering, why God is not, why he not looking at me? What happened? Now there's a petition between you and God. There's a gulf that is separating you from your Heavenly Father. And that's what the man of God is honestly trying to get us to understand. We cannot be in a place to the point to where we coming in and out of the services that we have week in and week out. We listen, we hearing the word, but we're not applying the word. And we're actually covering up all the little simple areas in our life, and we're not allowing God to cause conversion, true change to come in.
The word of God tells us over here in Proverbs 10 and 29. The way of the Lord is strength for the upright, but destruction will come to the workers of iniquity. I'm going to read 14 and 12 as well. 14 and 12 says this: there is a way that seems right to man, but its end is a way of death. What is death? Death consists of not just your physical death, spiritual death. So it's both of them. Let's go also to Proverbs 16 and 25. Says the same thing. It talks about there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. I thank God for this series that we're going through, because I take this as a warning that God is saying you don't have to go to hell. You don't have to choose that. That shouldn't even be a part of your choice. That shouldn't even be a part of the selection of what you would desire. And I speak to our millennials, because some of them really feel, and I'm going to speak to the ones that ain't here, you don't have time to keep playing. You don't have time, because the Bible describes our life as a vapor. That it's just, we can be here today, and then the very next day, we're gone. It's like a vapor. And what I've run into is that a lot of them feel like they're very invincible. They are. Ain't nothing going to happen to me. I'm good. I'm good. You know, I'm Gucci. That's what they say now. I'm Gucci. I'm like, all right, what up? You Gucci. But the thing is, God is saying, you're not Gucci. You're not good. Because if you can't line up with my word, and you can't line up with the standard that I've lifted up, the Bible describes it in Isaiah 59 and 19. It talks about that when the enemy comes in like a flood, that the Lord honestly comes in and he lifts up a standard. But how can God lift up a standard if you deny the standard? I'm good. God said, okay, you good. Just like the woman of God just got through saying, God, I need you to come through, because this is really heavy on my heart. I really want so-and-so to get better. I don't understand. You know, I keep praying and asking you this, and nothing is happening. What's wrong? There's a disconnect. There's a cutoff. Why? Because God's saying you didn't play too far. You didn't play so far off. You didn't honestly dealt with the harlots. You didn't dealt with this. You didn't dealt with that. Now you expect for me to come in and play rescue. Come in and be the hero. But on today, I believe that God is speaking to our hearts. Not just the young people, but he's speaking to our hearts. He say, be wise on how you choose to live this life of righteousness. It says, seek first in Matthew 6 and 33. It says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness. That's my path right there. See, it said there seemed a way for a man, but in the end it's destruction. So therefore, my path that I'm thinking of, I shouldn't be thinking of that path if it don't line up with God. If it don't line up with his kingdom. If it don't line up with his righteousness. That's what I seek. And when I seek that, that's my path. So I'm thanking God on today, amen. We really want to go into an area right now that we can have everybody stand to their feet. Amen.
Amen. We just want to make sure that we are like the 5 wise virgins and not the 5 foolish. We don't want to play off to the point to where we're dwindling off our time and not making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do to trim our lamps, meaning keep our lives straight before God. Keep ourselves right in the things that God has called us to do. And that's what the 5 wise did. They trimmed their lamps with the oil. The oil symbolizing the Holy Spirit, God's anointing, the pureness of God. Constantly keep consecrating yourself on a daily basis with that. The 5 wise, they act like they had time. I got time. The bridegroom not coming until about he comes about 6 o'clock. So I'm gonna wait till about 5:59 to get myself right. We don't have that 5:59 experience. There are people that are dying on their bed of affliction that are not coming out of sickness. And that's not because God is not merciful. It's not what it is. You gotta understand that we do not have the time that our foreparents had. That's right. That our parents had. We are living in a totally different age, but it's the same God and the same message. I know that with my husband said, talking to the millennials, a lot of times, in a lot of churches, the age bracket of, I want to say from about, I give it to like 17 to 30. A lot of people don't really want to take up the time with that age bracket because they feel like, they just don't want to hear what I got to say. They just want to sit and listen. And I know we have to meet people where they are, but at the same token, millennials, you must listen. Because the wisdom that our leaders have, all of them, the overseers, Pastor Bree, Prophetess Alicia, Pastor Todd and his lovely wife, all of the ministers, the deacons and deaconess, the wisdom that these men and women of God have, you can't buy that.
Come on now.
That's something to treasure, that you have people that love you enough to come to you and give you wisdom, to plant roots in your life to cause you to be godly successful, not just naturally successful. So we also say, that not only will they not listen, some millennials say, well, I can't really connect. And that could very well be true. We gotta kind of know how to reach them. We gotta know how to reach them. Because the wars and the temptation that they have, some of that stuff I didn't see till I was grown, being honest. And these kids are actually embracing these things in middle school and in high school and going into college. We have to understand, I thank God for Prophetess Alicia because she honestly gave us a dynamic to help us to understand that our middle school kids are in an identity crisis, but so are our college kids. So are college kids. When they come on a college campus, it's like a smorgasbord of stuff. You got the jocks over here, you got the cheerleaders over here, you got the band back there, you got all these fraternities and sororities, you got the satanic clubs, you got the golly clubs, you got the gospel choir, you got the twerkers, you got all these different people on campus. And they walk in and they don't know what to connect to. And the things that they learned and that they acquired in knowledge in church is key. Because now whatever you learn in church, you gotta let that discernment work for you and go and precede you so that way you know what to connect to rightfully. So my cry all week has been for the millennials.
Yes.
I talked to my daughter, and I know she don't mind me sharing this. My daughter's now in college, and I thank God for that. A beautiful baby grow up to be a beautiful young lady. And now I'm watching her as she's transitioning. And it's not scary for me, but it keeps me on my knees all the time. Because where she was on my lap, and then I was holding her, now she's constantly on my heart. And I know I can speak the same for every other parent in here with college kids or grown kids. And my thing is, these kids are looking to connect to something and somebody that can reach them exactly where they are. Hit the nail on the head and tell them that you're not a low person, that you're not a nobody, and that what God calls you to be, you will be there. You will be there. You're going to be those ministers. You're going to be that prophet. You're going to be that prophetic dreamer, that worshiper. Everything that